Coming up, the votes are in. We have live coverage from UGA's student government elections. How the Athens community plans to provide affordable housing to its citizens.
Housing that is affordable, let's say housing that is in that $120,000 to $180,000 range, that housing is almost non-existent in Athens.
And Danielsville is gearing up to paint the city pink as they rally behind a cancer patient. Stay with us.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening, I'm Ashley Carter. Welcome to Grady Newsource. We begin tonight with breaking news. The Student Government Association election results are scheduled to be announced right now at Tate Plaza. Grady Newsource reporter Lainey Tagliaferri joins us live with an update. Lainey, tell us what's going on.
As the 2020 SGA executive ticket. Now there are 3 campaigns running for this: Beyond, Unite, and Forward. Beyond is running on creating, uplifting, and engaging. Unite is running on sustainability, accountability, and visibility. And Forward is running on inclusion, perspective, and sincerity. Now there's a lot of excitement and nerves here, but if one of these 3 campaigns fails to receive 50% or more of these votes, then it will go into a runoff election. This means that the 2 campaigns with the most votes today will open back up for an election that will start tomorrow morning, Thursday at 8 a.m., and that will remain open until Friday at noon, with those results being announced here in Tate Plaza, 5 p.m. on Friday. We'll be bringing you the official results from Tate Plaza later on in this show. From Ashley, back to you.
Lainey, now the new SGA administration will take office on April 6. Grady Newsource reporter Hayden Chambliss spoke with the Empower officers today about their time in office and the legacy they will be leaving.
This office behind me has been home to the Empower ticket for almost a year, but in 40 days, they will have to pass the torch to a new board. Empower considers the implementation of the social values statement, the Georgia Way, as one of their proudest achievements.
Really craft the document well to make sure that we were including as many perspectives as possible, because ultimately what was guiding, and the guiding principle for all this was if we want a value statement for the community to really latch onto, we need to make sure they feel like they have been part of it.
Empower Treasurer Nav Singh also spearheaded an initiative called Roundup that will be implemented next school year.
So you go to any retail location on campus, like Starbucks, the bookstore, Jittery Joe's, you can round up any purchase you make. All that goes straight to the Big Dog Eat Scholarship here, just to help attack food insecurity on campus.
Since each board only has a year in office, some of the projects that Empower started, like Roundup, will be passed on to the new board that is elected today. They also plan to pass on some advice to their successor.
This is a really awesome opportunity to get to leave and to serve our student body, but it can be challenging, and so you got to have a good support system.
But don't be afraid of your weaknesses. I say focus on those the most, because that's the reason you have a team of 3. It's not a team of 1, not a team of 2.
We tried to get feedback from students about Empower's performance in office, but none of the students, which passed Tate Student Center in a half hour earlier today, knew anything about the Student Government Association. Awareness may be one of the main issues that the incoming SGA has to tackle. Last year, only 17.5% of students cast their vote. That is the lowest in the past 4 years. Hayden Chambliss, Grady Newsource.
A 3-month investigation involving methamphetamine trafficking led to an arrest in Jackson County. Lewis Jr. Hall and Christopher Lewis Hall were arrested in Maysville, Georgia on suspicion of trafficking meth. Jackson County Sheriff's Office, along with 7 other agencies, assisted with the execution of a search warrant and seized more than $50,000 worth of meth, a firearm, and marijuana. 64-year-old Lewis Hall is being charged with trafficking methamphetamine and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and 46-year-old Christopher Hall is being charged with possession with intent to distribute methamphetamine and possession of marijuana with the intent to distribute. I spoke with the Jackson County Sheriff, and here's what she had to say about these arrests.
We are a member of the Appalachian Regional Drug Task Force. So all those agencies you read are a member of the task force. Therefore, when you're going to do a big operation such as this, they all come together to assist on it. We will continue to fight the issues of people selling drugs and try to keep these drugs off the streets and out of the hands of people, especially our young people.
This investigation is still active. The Athens Regional Housing Summit brought community leaders together to talk about the state of housing in the area. Grady Newsource reporters Emma Goldsmith and Margaret Fall join us here in the studio to talk about what this means. Emma, tell us what you've learned so far.
That's right, Ashley. Margaret and I have both been looking into this today, and I talked with Athens Area Chamber of Commerce President David Bradley this morning about how affordable housing is one of the biggest issues in our community. And that's exactly why Bradley wanted to have this housing summit in the first place. For Athens specifically, Bradley said that middle-income housing for the $120,000 to $180,000 range basically doesn't exist right now. And he said a major cause of this is the unintended effects of regulations, including ones that deal with construction.
Adds to the cost of housing, and every time we add to the cost of housing, it makes it less affordable. So we just have to come up with a recognition of what do we really want, and maybe that across the board zoning for Athens for residential is, maybe we have to rethink what that looks like and really look at more locationally pertinent regulatory.
Margaret, I know you've also been looking into this issue. What have you found?
Yes, Emma, I have. I found that housing is too expensive for the lower middle class here in Athens, and this lack of affordable housing is what experts are calling the missing middle. Athens is full of high-density apartments and single-family homes, but the median household income in Athens is just above $33,000, while the median home value is only $152,000. Increasing poverty and rising rent and housing costs in Athens also make it difficult to afford housing.
Thanks, Margaret. Another big point that the Athens Chamber president made is that the lack of affordable housing is hitting the Northeast Georgia region. So I also spoke with Jim Shaw, who's the president of Jackson County's Chamber of Commerce.
Workforce, so when we have a lack of affordable housing in Jackson County, there's a lack of affordable housing in Athens, Clark County.
Shaw says the Jackson County Chamber is trying to increase housing density, especially in areas closer to employers, a solution that Athens, Clark County is also considering. Ashley, back to you.
The University of Georgia Police Department and the Athens Clark County Police Department are seeking your help in identifying the suspects of a rape that occurred early Sunday morning. The police described the suspects as two Latino males. The first suspect is described as a Latino male of medium build with dark curly hair, wearing a black button-up Columbia shirt and khaki shorts. The second suspect is described as a thin Latino male with dark hair, wearing blue jeans, boots, a black jacket with a hood, a white shirt, potentially in his early 20s. The Athens Clark County Police Department investigators obtained arrest warrants for one of the suspects, Dionisio Guadarrama, for rape, aggravated sexual battery, and sexual battery. The 19-year-old is from Carnesville, Georgia. They do not have any leads on the second suspects as of yet. The victim reported meeting the two suspects in downtown Athens and accompanied them to the car in North Campus deck at approximately 3:20 a.m., after which she was driven from the deck and raped while she was in the vehicle. The victim was seen being carried on the back of one of the suspects before entering a car and being driven away. Next, one teacher from Jefferson Middle School is named a STEM scholar, and Winder has been granted money for a new recreational trail.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
I love you.
Can we get strawberries? Okay.
Winder locals are excited about the proposed trail that would connect downtown to Fort Yargo State Park. Grady Newsource reporter Kevin Keneally tells us more about the $1 million grant that will help fund the trail.
I'm here at Fort Yargo State Park in Winder, Georgia, where city officials have proposed a 1-mile multi-use trail for walking, biking, inline skating, and nature viewing. This pathway would connect downtown Winder to Fort Yargo State Park.
Taylor Brown from the Georgia Department of Natural Resources breaks down what made the city of Winder's proposal stand out from the other 58 submissions.
Theirs was kind of unique in the fact that it's going to connect a downtown to a state park. So that was exciting for us that they would be able, that people that were visiting the state park or just people that were in Winder would have access to both of those facilities. So connections are super important, you know, being able to get places without necessarily getting in a car, but you'd be able to, you know, if you were staying at the state park, you'd be able to jump on a bike and get downtown and get something to eat and then get back.
The city of Winder will receive a $1 million grant from the Georgia Outdoor Stewardship Program to help offset the $1.3 million cost of this project. Winder has committed to provide the matching dollars in order to pay off this project.
Georgia Outdoor Stewardship Program is a grant and loan program that's available for local governments, recreation authorities, state agencies, or certain nonprofits if they deal with conservation or protection of natural resources. They're eligible too, just for outdoor recreation or conservation projects.
The grant for Winder provides people an ability to get from point A to point B without getting in a car.
It'd be kind of cool to get done, bike back into town, have a cup of coffee or something, or go by the bike shop.
For visitors coming from downtown to Fort Yargo State Park, the park offers a wide variety of experiences.
Yargo's got a little bit of everything, you know, a little technical, a little easy, different scenery. You got the lake. It's just a pretty place to be.
They will be able to start construction on this multi-use trail July 1st. For Grady Newsource, I'm Kevin Keneally.
In Jefferson Middle School's Emerging Technologies classroom, you'll find some of the newest and coolest gadgets. Grady Newsource reporter Trevor Terry shares how Joanna Knox is taking an innovative approach to STEM in her classroom, and she's been awarded for it.
Only 26 teachers were recognized with the Georgia STEM Scholar Award, and Jefferson Middle School's Joanna Knox was one of them.
The work that you do in the classroom isn't always highlighted. So one of the things that I think is really great about it was highlighting the great things we're doing here at Jefferson.
Knox teaches the school's Emerging Technologies course, a class that Melanie Siegler advocated for when she became the principal at JMS.
And she's brought in all the different ways, you know, technology is seen through the lens of the STEM focus.
With this award, Knox will receive a $500 grant to spend on STEM materials. And she has a clear idea of what to use it on.
That funding is so important because it brings those resources that are reusable, but also that are real world applicable.
So with that funding for STEM education, that allows for them to purchase things like Spheros or work with 3D printers to get real-life hands-on experience. Gage Mitch says because of Miss Knox's class, he's become interested in 3D printing.
I did one of these last year and 3D printed a bird whistle.
According to a U.S. Census report in 2018, STEM employment has grown 79% in the last 30 years, and computer jobs have seen a massive 338% increase over that same period. Knox is looking to spark her students' interest in those same areas.
This program just helps give them a taste so they can see where they could be successful in other areas.
Most of the jobs we are preparing kids for in middle school and high school don't even exist yet.
And the students see the importance of STEM integration in the classroom.
It's more interactive, like you don't just sit down at a desk and do work.
For coding, I never really was interested in it, but we started doing that lately, and I've actually gone home and done some by myself.
Knox wants to show that STEM is for everyone.
It's not just for one group of people.
Trevor Terry, Grady Newsource.
Good evening, my name is Margaret Full, and tonight after the break, I'll be bringing you your Grady Newsource weather report, where we'll discuss the 5-day forecast and the slight chance of wintry mix we could experience tonight and Friday night.
Hi, I'm Peter, and there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends. Come on in, help yourself to anything. That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit savethefood.com.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Attention travelers. Next Tuesday, a major power outage will cause complete chaos throughout the city. Food, water, and phone service will be in short supply. There will likely be panic citywide. Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
And now, the weather.
Good evening, my name is Margaret Full, and tonight I'll be bringing you your Grady Newsource weather. In the next few minutes, we're going to discuss the hazardous weather outlook that has been issued by the National Weather Service, tonight's forecast, and the 5-day forecast. Let's jump right into the hazardous weather outlook. It's nothing to be alarmed about, but it will affect portions of North Georgia, including Clark, Barrow, Jackson, Madison, Oconee, and Oglethorpe. You can expect some wintry weather tonight that will extend into tomorrow morning, but again, nothing to be alarmed about. There should be no accumulation unless you live somewhere above 2,000 feet, in which you could have accumulation of less than 1 inch. This outlook does continue from Friday to Saturday in those same 6 counties where there is a chance of wintry weather on Friday night that could extend into Saturday morning. Again, nothing to be alarmed about, but just keep an eye out. Looking into your 5-day forecast, it will be sunny starting Thursday through Sunday. Again, that slight chance of wintry mix Friday night into Saturday. With your Grady Newsource weather, I'm Margaret Full.
I'm Savannah Schmidt, and tonight I'll be talking about Devontae Wyatt's recent arrest, Alabama's Scott Cochran coming to UGA, and NFL's comments about Jake Fromm's hands. Stay tuned.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Is the seat supposed to be forward-facing or rear-facing? Did they move to a booster seat too soon? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Don't think you know. Know you know.
I'm a single mother, and I was the main one working, so I never thought that I could go back to school, you know? My sister, my mother, everybody wanted to help me with my kids. I could not have gotten my diploma without my family.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90-mile-per-hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
And now, sports.
Hi, my name is Savannah Schmidt, and this is your Grady Sports. UGA defensive lineman Devontae Wyatt was arrested last night for family violence, criminal trespass, and damage to property. Carlo Finlay, an assistant director of Grady Sports Media, says that it sounds like Wyatt's arrest was mostly based on the destruction of property and not actual physical violence. As for what this means for Wyatt's football career, Finlay had this to say.
So it sounds like this will be handled internally within the team by Kirby Smart. That's what he said in his official statement that was released this morning. So I think that probably means some sort of punishment, whether that's could be running stairs or some sort of thing that obviously no one really in the public knows about, but it's handled internally. My expectation is that he would still participate in spring practice, and then obviously that he won't miss any playing time come the fall 2020 season. I don't think, unless we learn more, that additional details emerge, that it'll cause him to miss any playing time during the fall 2020 season.
Scott Cochran is coming to UGA after being Alabama's head strength and conditioning coach for 13 years. This isn't the first time that UGA has tried to lure Cochran over. Kirby Smart tried to bring Cochran to Georgia after he was hired as UGA's head coach in 2016. Cochran was the 5th highest paid strength and conditioning coach in the Football Bowl subdivision last season. He is well known for his high energy and successful training program. Jake Fromm has encountered an unusual problem after declaring for the NFL draft. By NFL quarterback standards, Fromm's hands are on the small side. A player's hand size is measured from the tip of the thumb to the tip of the pinky, with the desired hand measurement being 9 inches. However, Fromm's 8 7/8 inch hand size doesn't bother him too much. He says that his hands have played plenty of football and done well so far. At the NFL Combine, Fromm says that it was his hand that went to 3 SEC championships, a Rose Bowl, some Sugar Bowls, and a national championship. I'm Savannah Schmidt, and this has been your Grady Sports.
Coming up, updates on the SGA election and how a city in Madison County is supporting one of its members who has breast cancer.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Is your family in need of more quality time together?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Nature is best enjoyed together. So bring the whole family to discover all the bonding and stress-reducing benefits parks and forests have to offer. Visit discovertheforest.org and trade in phone time for family time.
Birds, squirrels, chipmunks, grass, worms, bugs, trees, rocks, and other objects in nature cannot talk. If you'd like to have a conversation while visiting nature, you will need to bring humans along. We strongly recommend starting with your family.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you.
We're here.
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
We have breaking news. There will be a runoff between Forward and Unite. Voting will reopen and close on Friday. And on Saturday, Madison County will come together to support a courageous woman battling breast cancer. Our reporter, Cassidy A. Thomas, tells us more.
Memorial Park will be packed with local businesses, food, trucks, and more, all for Jamie Bray, a Madison County local battling ductal invasive breast cancer. Jamie's younger sister Molly and cousin Jennifer put the benefit ride together for Jamie despite her being hesitant.
So ride what you got. Jeeps, jacked up trucks, motorcycles.
There's possibly a school bus.
School bus.
Because I was a school bus driver for 6 years. Silent auction.
Silent auctions from vendors and people that are just wanting to donate and help.
With over 100 people signed up to participate this Saturday, the community Jamie was born and raised in is giving back to her for a change.
Jamie has done so much for the community. Since the beginning, we have been getting phone calls. What can we do to help? So everyone's rallied together.
Jamie is the glue that keeps the Bray family intact. Lifting her up was long overdue.
People that are just showing up just to say, hey, we got your back. It means a lot. It's very humbling. It's a tough pill to swallow to know that you're not the one to fix everything, but it's nice to know you got somebody that's got you when you do.
If there's just one thing that keeps Jamie in good spirits, it's her 3 children.
That's what I wake up for every day. That's what I strive for. And when they told me the diagnosis, I was like, okay, what do we do now? Because I'm not going to roll over.
The benefit will be held February 29th, this Saturday, starting at 11 a.m. They asked everyone who plans on riding to arrive an hour early at 10 a.m. Registration is $35 and will continue on until the morning of the event. I'm Cassidy A. Thomas with Grady Newsource.
That's all for tonight. Thank you for watching. Good night.
Grady Newsource is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
What to expect when you're expecting?
Like here?
A teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to teen-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys. Preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
Ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Wait, why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
This is the Grady Newsource post-show critique.
One of our SPMs.
Thank y'all for a really great show. It was really complicated, but thank y'all because it challenged me a lot. I did have a couple of missed punches, but we recovered really well, and the show was timed really well. We did have to, cut something and take something out, but communication on your producer's part, and everything going on was really key to everything. Live shot went great. I know we had to bring in a breaking news towards the end, but we did a great job with that. I really, really loved and appreciated how today, leading up to the show, went so smoothly. We got most all of our packages in way before show started. We got all of our stuff in and checked, and our scripts were printed, and the rundowns were done. So it allowed us more time when we were prepping for the show to get everything done that we needed to, which was really appreciated because it was such a complicated show, So I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate everything that y'all have done today. I thought it was a great show, as complicated as it was, so thanks for challenging me. Sarah?
And thank you for doing so well. I can't believe it's just the second time.
Yeah.
And I knew you were very nervous, but...
I was, yeah, for sure.
Second time director, did absolutely great. We had a double box and everything. Had to do some manual punches for lower thirds and stuff, so those went off without a hitch. Let's see here. I have very few notes for today. Mostly just same old stuff. Keep an eye on scheduling, keep an eye on timing, make sure your stuff gets in on time. Today's pre-recording went very well. Everybody was in and out on time. We had enough time to do something for your package in the studio, which turned out, I thought it looked fantastic. And I thought it was great how you basically matched your package. You're dressed in pink and it looks great. So I thought that pre-recording went very well. Live show, a little bit hectic, but what else is new? It was a very complicated show, but I think it went off pretty well. I am gonna try to get more nitpicky next week, so just keep an eye out for that. But you guys have been on top of it so far, so just keep on improving. And it'll be great. That's all that I have for today. So have a good rest of your post show.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Sarah and Morgan. Great job.
Thank you.
And we'll keep challenging you, and you can just come back and challenge us. That's what payback will be sweet. All right, so you got kudos for our producer for communicating very well, as we heard from Morgan and Sarah. And tell us now from your point of view, Anna Glenn.
Yeah, today was
How
really
did we do?
more complicated than yesterday, which I didn't know that was possible, but it was. There was a lot of stuff that they would tell me just in there, and I had to relay it really quickly. So Ashley, thanks for being willing to work with me and work on the fly. Like, I'm sorry that I cut your reader, but it was the exact amount of time that we were over, so it just made sense. Brittany and I talked about it, so I'm sorry that had to happen. I know you were really excited about it. Yes, HGTV. But you were so great on the fly, and thanks for listening to me in your ear and stuff like that. But we were perfect on time, and I think everything went really smoothly. And they came up to Ashley and I today, and they said, hey, actually, this is the first time, but we're going to end right at 27 minutes and 15 seconds. And Ashley and I looked at each other, and we were like, holy cow. So we had to rearrange the rundown and figure out where we wanted to put our readers strategically, because we were like, if we go over, this can be cut. So that's kind of what we did, and it did get cut, but it's okay. Everything worked out. So we did well on time, considering the circumstances. So that was great. As far as having two people at the smartboard, that was new. I thought it went really, really well. I loved how you used the smartboard and actually drew on it. I thought that was really great and got your point across very well. You guys are both really, really good on camera and had great chemistry, and I liked the two of you together. So amazing job on that.
Because you looked at each other
Yes.
at the right moments, and it didn't look awkward that at a time you didn't have anything to say and then you were standing. It was very natural. Worked very well.
Yeah. The live shot also went great. It looked really, really good. There were a lot of people behind her. And then she let me know right away what the deal was with SGA. I went in and changed the script for Ashley. Ashley had a pen down there, wrote her little thing, so that couldn't have gone better, the breaking news part of that.
I'm going to listen to it again, but I'm not sure if we said, and now coming back to returning to our breaking news from the top of the hour, which was the elections, the student.
I said we have breaking news.
Yeah, but just reintroducing the topic, that is for something I'm nitpicking. It was
well, we
amazing.
teased to it
Yeah,
live.
and the thing is, why didn't we go? Was she reading over the stinger of breaking news?
They told her to just go.
Uh-huh.
So
Because you wait for the stinger, and when you see yourself on camera, that's when you start, because then we didn't see you.
They told me to, while I was in the studio, young lady on the prompter told me, I'm sorry, I was trying to remember her name, Sophie, actually told me to immediately, once it's 5, 4, 3, 2, start reading.
Yeah.
In
So
that
we need
case,
to talk,
I had
yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
I'm just trying to find out how we can avoid that next time, because the stinger has to go, and then we see the anchor. And
Could you all still hear my voice? I'm curious, because I was nervous that you guys could still hear me, you just couldn't see me. Yeah. Okay.
But we could not tell. I knew how nervous you were, but we could not tell that you were nervous at all. And
So standard operations for a breaking news stinger is generally we don't like to run the breaking news audio off of DDR1 because generally it's a little bit louder than the rest of the show and it doesn't quite fit the rest of like what the show looks like. So standard procedure, and I think we've done it that way this semester before, is we come back in to that breaking news stinger, and then the anchor or the reporter who is relaying the breaking news will start speaking underneath the stinger. So the beginning of that script was we have breaking news, so that's what's playing underneath the stinger, and we could hear you, and honestly it looked great. So that's just standard.
I wasn't trying to.
But I brought it up because I think we should wait for the stinger, then the anchor comes on camera. That's how I've been doing it. Anchor comes on camera and says, we return to a breaking news story, this, and this. So I would prefer the style where the anchor comes on camera and starts reading or ad-libbing after the stinger is done.
Yeah.
Could we make that a rule?
Yeah, we could do that in the future. We just need to find some different audio to play underneath the breaking news stinger because it's odd to just sit there while it's quiet.
I like it. Even if there's no audio on it, I like it because it's very short.
Mm-hmm.
It draws the attention of the viewer, and then it goes to the anchor. So I see your point, but I think even if we don't have any music under breaking news, I think, or somebody saying this is breaking news, I think it looks more natural. And I'm going to look at it again tonight. But I would prefer for, the stinger, and then the anchor comes on camera.
We can definitely do that in the future. We'll keep that in mind for when we do breaking news for this class. Yeah.
Everything, I'm just nitpicking.
No, it's just like it's different styles for different people, and if that's the way you want the show to run, I will 100% do that for you in the future.
Yeah, I prefer that. To me, it's odd for the anchor to start speaking over the stinger.
Sure.
I want to see the anchor, and the anchor brings us back to this breaking news story. And
yeah, not a problem. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so that's
sorry, audio.
That's that on that. But the live shot went well. I thought the SGA coverage, just as a whole, was really good. I liked the team coverage that you guys did, and I loved having the perspective of the old executive board and what they accomplished and how they hope to give advice to the future people that are coming in. So, great job on that, Hayden. I thought the interviews looked really well, sounded really great. And then, of course, Lainey did a really clear and concise job, I think, explaining that under live circumstances. So that was good. Ashley, you had really complex readers, and they went really well. So, you paid great attention to detail and read them perfectly. So that was awesome. Trevor, your graphics were amazing. Loved them.
Especially the one with the moving numbers.
Yes.
Was very...
I will say I didn't have a ton of time. There was lots of stuff going on in there to actually talk about each package, but graphics were really good. Cassidy, I thought your package was the perfect one to end on, and like she said, I loved the use of the green screen and how it fit into the package. That was just a really good idea and stuff, so it looked great. Kevin, loved your idea, really well executed, stand up great, etc. Sorry, I don't have super detailed notes, but you had an interesting experience today if you want to talk about it.
Yeah, so...
Oh, he always has. Always something happens. What happened today?
So if you saw on a stand-up, there's a lake at Fort Yargo, and where I was interviewing...
You didn't fall in the lake, did you?
I would have rather that almost. Where I was interviewing the two bikers was on the other side of the lake from the parking lot, and as soon as I get done interviewing those two bikers, I start packing up the camera and everything and start walking across the bridge, and I see this cop car coming down the grassy area to the parking lot, and I just know that it had to be something with me because I was the only car there and I was the only person left in the park. And so while I'm walking over the bridge, they park next to my car and get out of the car, and they're just watching me walk the rest of the way up to my car. And as soon as I get to them, they ask me what I was doing and asked or tried to make sure that I was not filming an advertisement. And I told them that I wasn't, that I was doing this was more of a school project for Grady Newsource at the University of Georgia, and that I was recording a news package on the grant and the proposed trail connecting downtown Winder to Fort Yago State Park. And then I gave him my press pass.
Good.
And he scanned it, and it came up to the website, so he was okay with me filming and everything at that point. But then from that point on, he reverted back to me not having a parking pass there. And I kind of played the dumb game that I didn't really know that we had to get a parking pass or where we get the parking passes from. And so he let me off with a warning and kind of ended up showing me where the parking passes are and what we have to do. In order to park there, you have to pay like $5 to put this thing on your windshield. And yeah, so he gave me a warning after all this.
That was kind of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so,
but didn't you ask for permission? Usually they let the press in and they give you a complimentary pass if you have asked for permission. Remember how we talked, anywhere you go, you need to ask for permission.
Yeah.
Or you need to notify people that you're going to be there.
And he was saying they typically don't give out complimentary passes like that.
So how did you get in there?
I mean, you
didn't ask if you could.
You can just drive in. There's no gate or anything that you have to pass. It's just you drive down a road. And I got to this dock, parked my car.
And there's no administrative building in which to check in and
not that
let
you
them know
pass
you're
in
there?
between where the main road is in Winder to where this dock.
But you didn't talk
no
to the park
sign.
authorities at all? You just showed up and started filming?
Yeah.
No, that's not. Next time you need to call, and like we talked, anytime you go, you need to notify people, whether it's a mall or a park, or there's always an administrative element there that you need to consider. Yeah.
Okay.
Always, yeah.
Okay.
So I thought your stand-up was amazing. There was so much depth, and it really showed, the connection that this new trail is going to make. The only thing was be careful with the audio balance. There was a real jump in the audio.
I was going to say something with that. That's where I ran out of time at the end, where I wish I had more time to really focus on the audio. And I know as soon as the stand-up ended and it went to that first soundbite, it skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And
it was a little startling, yeah.
And then when I had the phone conversation going, I thought it was too long and just a one screen without anything on in the background.
Well, isn't there an option for the captions, like we've been doing the captions?
I mean, even with that, I feel like it was too long to where I wish I put B-roll over
it,
while the phone conversation was still going on. So
Great
just
idea. Next time.
Looking at that screen for as long as we did.
Yeah, but major improvement, and then stand-up was really good, and you were so natural, and you had chosen a great background for it. But again, guys, try not to begin your packages with stand-ups. It could be done once in a while, and I think both of you had a reason to have a stand-up, but that's something, as we talked, usually have a stand-up at the end or a bridge stand-up, which is like in the middle, for something that you don't have B-roll for, or something that needs to be visualized in some way, and you don't have you have no other way to do it. So, but I liked both of your stand-ups, and I like it when you have stand-ups. But the audio balance, work on that. That should be your next little task to conquer. This little, and also always ask. Or let people know you'll be there and who you are and who you represent. And
Okay.
So
as far as sports and weather, Savannah, I loved how fun your sports were, and the hands thing, they were all laughing.
Very nice. Yes.
So funny. I liked how it was all UGA football, just because I think that's what people are interested in, and it did involve the NFL, and it also involved Alabama and like the Southeastern Conference as a whole. So really good job on having a full coverage and also just like making your stories interesting and relatable. So great job on that, especially for when you texted me on Sunday and you were like, I don't know what to do, but you did so well. If you want to talk about your experience at all.
I still don't know what I'm doing, but I feel like it almost kind of helped me know what to say, because I was like, well, I'll just say what I read to make me understand it, so that way other people can understand it. So, and Anna Glenn helped me a lot. I'd be like, what's this? Is this what sports people say?
You did great, Savannah.
Thank you.
And Margaret.
I'm sorry, Ashley helped me a lot today. Ashley was the one who gave me the idea for with Devontae Wyatt, and she gave me a number to call to.
You executed that beautifully.
It was a team effort. Thank you.
I'm so happy to hear that. Thank you, guys. Yes, you're a team. Yes.
Margaret, so good at weather. I'm sorry that I told you at the beginning of the day, I was like, we're going to use your 3 minute, and then we moved all the way down to 1. But next time. Your 1 minute was so great. And then thank you so much for coming up to me at the beginning of the day and saying, hey, I'm willing to help out with whatever you need. And you hopped right on Emma's story. You got the data, and it looked so great. So thanks for being willing to do that and hop along and be flexible. So I appreciate that. But yeah, overall great day on my end. How was your day, Derek?
Digital producing, it was a little bit more busy today and hectic because we had a couple of challenges with SGA, and so of course Lainey isn't here, but we did a couple of things for Instagram story, as well as she had interviewed the current UGA SGA tickets today, and we posted those on Instagram as well. And also thank you, Emma, for like the sides and the caption, and Kevin with the PDF image of the proposal. And of course, thank you, Trevor, because we finally got our digital article out right when the show ended, so I'm very excited.
I saw it cross. I have my notifications on.
You saw what?
I got notified because I have a notification from our app. It notifies me when we publish something. So I saw it. Yeah, while we were on air, I was notified. Yeah.
Yeah, but for real, thank you so much, Trevor. Yeah, of course. Even though we couldn't get 2 digital stories, at least we got one, and that was your story. Again, like, today was a little bit more hectic. However...
What was hectic there?
Just getting the sides and just trying to figure out which platform they would work best for, basically. So, 2 of the things that we posted did not go on Twitter at all because from the analytics we were seeing that Twitter really wasn't really giving us the engagement that we needed. However, Emma, your site went on all 3 platforms, so Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And so, yeah, but I am proud of you guys and proud of myself because we accomplished what I was really hoping to accomplish today. So, yeah.
So you did the SGA posts on Instagram, Emma's thoughts on all 3 platforms, and you had an article.
Yeah, and Kevin's picture diagram of the proposal for his story as well, and Trevor's article.
Okay. And digital, I didn't see the Grady Daily, but you had good topics, and
yes.
That I'll watch it, and I'll watch the show again. Is there anything else looking ahead, anything that we could do differently, or anything that we did well digitally that we should continue next week?
I think the sites for Facebook and Instagram, especially Facebook, are very good.
Sites.
However, I think the digital producer role in the upcoming weeks, I think we need to find out how we can get more engagement from Twitter, because Twitter is just kind of stagnant. You know.
Why do you think it's stagnant? What are we not doing? Did you notice anything that we can do differently?
I talked to Dr. Bright about this. It's not necessarily what we're not doing. It's just the fact that with Twitter, if you're not in one of the trending hashtags on their website, then it's hard that folks will really come across you unless they follow you. And so if you want to gain new followers, my proposal is looking at some of the hashtags that are trending on Twitter and how that can relate to the local angle. And the same thing I did with like Monday with Mardi Gras. So
I'm taking notes.
yeah.
Who's a digital producer next week?
Oh yes. Hi.
Yeah? take notes?
Yeah, taking them.
Good, good. So hashtags Twitter.
Hashtag it.
Yeah. And I'm glad you set a high bar for 2 articles. We didn't achieve it, but I think
We got one.
we got one, and I think we should keep trying to have 2 articles.
Do you think what would help? Because I've noticed when we get to class and we have 3 hours pretty much to go and get our stories done for broadcast, my question is, do you think it'll be worth it once the pitches go in the night before class that we reach out to the people that we think would be good on digital so that they can start brainstorming ways to come to class and have ideas on how they would like to see their piece brought to life on digital?
Kind of plan it in a way like, how do I go and shoot this piece
And
so
also-
that I can have both the digital.
Right, and give the reporter creative ability to think of that as well, because I think coming to class at 9 a.m. and then being pointed at and saying, you give me an article and you give me an article, that's fine, and that may be the real world. But I also think it'll be cool to see, you know, and since I'm digital producer next week, people put their pitches in. Wow, I think that would look really cool on digital. Can you come to the pitch meeting with 2 ideas on how you would like to see this on digital? And if you need help, that's when digital producer kind of, what do you think about that? I'm just thinking about ways
yes,
we can
I
get
think
digital.
the digital producer can help the reporters also.
Right.
Like if you see potential for a certain story to be on digital, or if the reporter says, you know, I can't do it because I've got one interview at 9 and then the other one at 2 and I have to turn in a package, or maybe work with the producer, the broadcast producer, and just kind of not have that reporter turn in a package, do something, a live VO SOT and an article. So I think if the producer and the broadcast and digital producers work together to make that happen, that will...
And give warning before the meeting.
Yes,
so
yes.
The reporter's already in the mindset of, today I have to do, you know, 3 things instead of just 1 thing.
But also helping the reporter figure out a way to do it without,
Absolutely.
you know, in a way that doesn't jeopardize the package or what he or she has to do. So that's a nice thing to kind of work together. And yeah, that's a very good idea.
So I was thinking for Twitter, one idea that I think could help us in terms of engagement. When we post our stories, how we post them like this, I think that kind of turns people off and wanting to look at the post, because all they see is a box with a story and then like this slug in a way. And so I think if we can post the picture that is being used in this little thumbnail
Excellent
for the
idea.
story, and then tag the people that the story's about in the picture, and then at the bottom of the tweet include the URL to the story.
Excellent.
I think that would do a lot better, because
There's got to be a visual element to everything.
Yeah, so you'll have the bigger picture and you'll be able to tag those people, so those people will then be able to retweet it if they want to, and then that will also expand the audience a little bit, I think.
Ashley, does that make sense to you? That we need
And I can help you too with like showing you what I mean by that.
But I think the reporters have to be, they have to come up with these ideas. Hey, or maybe just every reporter make it a point that every reporter, when they go out to report, send some kind of a visual. Even if we don't use it, you make a decision. How does it look? We've got it. If each one of you gets in the mind frame, no matter where I go to shoot whatever, I always think of sending in an image. And if that becomes like second nature for each one of you, I think we'll have more interesting content earlier on.
And I kind of want to go back. That's a really good idea, and I'll incorporate that into what I'm about to say. But kind of what Ashley was saying about knowing if your content would, or your idea could be good for a digital article. As someone who's done a digital article and a package all in one day, it was very stressful. And since I stayed till like 7:30 that night finishing up the article. And as I was doing it, I was like, man, if I had known I was going to do this while I was at the event, I would have filmed all of this, talked to these people, gotten this information. So I just, like, as someone who's done both in one day, I just wanted to clarify that, like, that is a really good idea, to just know ahead of time. And then you can also be thinking while you're thinking about stuff for a digital article, you can be thinking about stuff that would be good for a Twitter and asking your
Yeah,
sources,
be proactive and be in that mind frame.
and like asking your sources at the time, hey, what's your Twitter handle? So you don't have to go searching for it all day. You can just be prepared for everything on the get-go.
I'm taking notes for next week. So be more proactive on digital and pre-plan and see what's feasible.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice. And maybe do something on coronavirus. You will look into. I slacked you AJC article that crossed right before the show. It's about a person stranded in China from Georgia and what they're going through.
AJC got it, the one that we were talking about this morning.
I got a notification right before the show, and I slacked it to Margaret. Maybe it'll give her ideas as to how to do that. What is it like to be quarantined in a foreign country that you don't even speak the language? You know, what is it like? Do a Skype interview, right?
It'd be really cool to Skype her. And
yeah.
I wouldn't do that live though, right?
No.
That's what
I mean,
I just
in China, you've got, what, 12 hours
Oh,
difference?
yeah.
So
That would be a big deal.
5 p.m. here is 5 a.m.
Yeah.
in China,
Yeah,
in
that's
Beijing
not
at
gonna
least.
happen.
They've got
Okay.
several time zones. No, they don't. Actually, they're in one time zone. But I think it's 12 or 13 hours time zone
Yeah,
difference.
either way, that's not feasible. So
Yes,
I'll work on it
you'll
this
need
week.
to, yeah. And think of the time zone also. But that'll be very interesting.
Ashley, do you want to talk about your day?
Yes, you did very well.
Thank you.
That was so
Thank you.
natural.
So I had a lot of fun. It was interesting. It was live. It was live. It was live.
And breaking news.
And breaking.
Yes.
And when you have hard readers and you're talking about meth and you're talking about rape, reports, you want to be sure that you get everything right, and you don't want to mess up a name. You don't want to mess up anything, because this is people's lives. So that was really interesting. But one thing that I want to touch on before we run out of time, the volunteers are amazing. So I'm thankful for the volunteers. So I know when I was down there, they're probably like, this girl, oh my goodness. But, today I realized the volunteers really hold, you have to trust them. That prompter, if it jump, you don't jump. You have your papers, you get to it. And so today I know that as we were down there, I know Emma and Margaret were down there with me like, oh my goodness. I hope that the volunteers know that we appreciate them, because being an anchor really put me in a position to where I was like, wow, I really have to trust them. But also I hope that the volunteers are also kind back, because we have a hard job of going live. So that's it. I mean, I just had a really great week, and I'm thankful for all of you guys' stories. It was great introducing them, and I had a lot of fun.
All of you, I'm really proud of you, and I'm just pushing you. I'm going to push you more on today. I worked with a lot of you, and I'm not picking on anyone, but I think most of you need a little bit of fine-tuning when it comes to the structure of a package and how you introduce sound bites. And I work with each and every one of you a little bit, and I'm going to work a little bit on Monday morning. I'm going to bring you a sample of what an actual CNN script looks like, a very simple script with a lead, and we'll just briefly discuss it. I have it from a workshop I did many years ago with the toughest copy editor at CNN at that time, and I'm going to share that with you. I'll make some copies of that actual, and he's outlined what the structure is, and so you can follow that structure. I mean, you can't do it for every package, but it really helps you realize what it means to have an introductory fact or an introductory sentence to what the essence of a soundbite is. And it's very simple, and it shows you why broadcast is different from web and AP style. It is very conversational, very short sentences. You'll see. I think this will help you. And I really thank you all for watching this little tutorial, and really I appreciate it, Ashley, that the things that you noticed and shared, I think, were very valuable in this morning meeting. And Sarah, thank you again.
All right. That's our post show for tonight. Everybody have a good night.
Good night.